Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with another live 1 versus 1 battle featuring spawning in the north. It's going to be the Overcommand West forces of CJCitizen. And spawning in the south, it is going to be the Soviet forces of whorunbartertown. Who I might just call Town, I guess. Looks like CJ's gone ahead and picked his commander on this map, which is going to be Lost Glider. He's going for the Grand Offensive Doctrine, one of my favourites, probably my actual favourite just now. I think all of these abilities are pretty useful. Infrared STG-44 package, the most suspect of the bunch, of course, and Panzer Commander. It is useful, but it's not as impactful as various other things you can have. But still, a really cool commander, and Panzer Fusiliers are just like rocking my world right now. They're so powerful. So I really enjoy using them. They kind of really like cast me in the mind of using Volksgrenadiers in the days of yore when they used to get Shreks on those units. So yeah, just anytime you can put Shreks on a 5-man squad of dudes is really good, and 100 munitions for 2 Shreks, bargain. So looks like we're going to be seeing a Panzer Fusilier heavy build here, and that's fine. They are almost the same price as Volksgrenadiers, so I don't know how they compare DPS-wise, like, you know, model for model, if they're just firing with a rifle, but I assume it has to be pretty much the same, if not identical, right? I mean, they're just like run-of-the-mill German infantry, aren't they? Looks like we've got conscript opener here for whorunbartertown. No tech building just yet, so maybe he'll diversify that when he feels comfortable doing so. I don't know, let's take a look at his commander roster here. We've got Airborne Troops Tactics, basically my favourite Soviet commander at the moment. He's got Soviet Industry, which is just a classic. And who's this guy? Urban Defense. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Wow, we got 2 KV2 commanders on the roster here. Yeah, Urban Defense. I went through a phase of using this guy massively back in the day because I always like to have, pardon me. I always like to have forward fallback options, and he was the only Soviet commander who provided one of those for a while. Unfortunately, his has to be targeted on a building, and that building can be destroyed, and you can't repair those buildings, so probably less useful than most other forward fallback abilities, but still, a useful commander. Now, somebody on my channel recently gave me some feedback, which was super useful, and they did point out it's really, like, the videos on the channel are, like, it's super easy to be spoiled because you can see the duration of the battle, which kind of makes it easy to figure out who won or, like, you know, what size of battle it's going to be. And that's a really good point, and it bugs me as well. When I watch other things, and I watch a lot of Smash Brothers on Twitch, I watch a lot of Magic tournaments on Twitch, I watch a lot of StarCraft tournaments, and things like that. And whenever you see there's a time limit on the video, like, I have to deliberately try not to look at it, because otherwise it's really easy to figure out. Like, you know, if it's a best of 7 series and it only went on for like an hour and a half, then, like, you probably know whoever won the first game or like gets a 2-0 is going to win the series and things like that. So it's pretty anticlimactic. Now, there is a way around this. Obviously, you can add a filler to the end of your video to make all of your videos the same length, which is not something I've done before. I don't know how easy or hard that is to do, but it's something that I'm going to look into doing and hopefully get done sooner rather than later, because, yeah, it's always bugged me that I just do things this way on my channel. It's always bugged me that the potential is there to get spoiled, let's put it that way. So I'm hoping, as we see this pretty epic fight being taken here, big engagement with most of the units from both factions here, I'm hoping that that's something which I can get added to the channel pretty soon. Yeah, I guess that's really all there is to say on that one. Whoa, the camera. What is with this camera thing? Why does it keep doing that? It's so frustrating. Anyway. Oh yeah, that was the other thing, yeah. So yesterday, I uploaded a video where I mentioned that I was thinking of doing some MTG-related content, and I'm continuing to think about that. Somebody also suggested that I put up some beginner videos for those who are not au fait with MTG, and that's something I'm absolutely happy to do. So I'm having a think about what sort of content I could upload that's to do with that. I have a Twitch channel, for those of you who don't know. It's twitch.tv/magpie842, or 842, and I'm thinking of putting up some MTG stuff there, because I play MTG probably a couple of hours a day at the moment, and I could easily broadcast those sessions and explain my decision making and sort of what I'm doing with the decks and that sort of thing. That would be fun for me. So yeah, probably going to be using the Twitch channel increasingly in the days to come. Also, for those of you who don't know, I also have a Twitter. It's Twitter @magpiecaster. And that's where I tend to post like updates and things, so if there aren't any videos appearing for a while, you can check on the Twitter. I mean, I also post the comments on YouTube, so you can see them there, but yeah, you can get those kind of updates on Twitter if that's your shtick. So anyway, right, with all of that said and done, let's turn our attention back to this match. CJCitizen, he's up to 4 squads of Panzer Fusiliers right now. A lot of good fights being taken on the field by both players. The Soviet airborne tactics being used to equip the conscripts with SVD rifles at the moment. So these conscripts punching above their weight here. Going to get into the church. Let's just quickly crack the tack, and we can see the map right now, approximately an even split between these two players. Conscripts versus Fusiliers, basically going to be an even fight. Comes down to the positioning and micro by the two players, and we'll have to see how that unfolds as we move forward here. Pardon me, please do excuse me, my voice is still not back to 100%. I'm still definitely feeling the effects of this darn virus, but hopefully it'll be done soon. Looks like we've got a battle group at HQ opening here for CJCitizen, so fair to say that's the rarer of the 2 openings that we tend to see out of OKW players. And he's going to be using that to get a flak half-track, so far this build reminding me of the sort of Cat and S Price builds that have featured a couple of times on the channel in recent times. A couple of the upgraded rifle packages, G43, starting to appear on some of these Fusiliers, so that's an interesting choice. How much does the G43 package cost? 80, wow. Huh. How many G43s do you actually get? Oh, it's so hard to see. You get 1, 2. Okay. Interesting. I mean, they do significantly up the DPS, so that's cool. I just thought it cost a little less than 80, to be honest. I very rarely take that upgrade, but there we go. Looks like we've got the Danzak Spicy Machine Gun moving out onto the field, courtesy of the Airborne Forces Doctrine. What's it called, sorry? The Airborne Troops Tactics, my bad, yeah. And that's the rumble of the Soviet heavy MG. Immediately forcing some Axis troops back in this area, and probably going to be galvanizing this Soviet push into the west of the map, and I can't really see CJ being able to hold on to this area of the map. And indeed, even in the east, Soviet forces are capturing points and grabbing ground. So here comes the flak half-track, and we're moving out onto the field to try and redress this balance of power, police the Soviet units back a little bit. And CJ needs to do that. He's going to find himself under a double cap fairly shortly, I think. Hang on, what's happening over here? How are these Soviet forces? Yeah, okay. As I thought, they should be overrunning the Axis forces in the west of map fairly promptly. There are still some Panzer Fusiliers grabbing a point up here, but they won't be much of a match for those conscripts with SVD supported by the Danzak. So, pardon me. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if we crack the tack right now, you can see things basically going the way of, what's his name, Town. Yeah, going the way of Town here. Going to be grabbing large swathes of the map and securing himself some much needed map control in this early portion of the game. So let's see. How much fuel are we up to here for CJ? I don't know. Not enough right now. He's pretty much going to have to make do with what he's got. I guess an MG34 would be a nice choice to mix in right now. Actually, you know what? Given that your opponent has two Danzak machine guns, a light gun starts to become an option which is not completely unappealing. Light guns are always hard to justify, but they are cheaper than ever now. How much are the light guns new? Light guns are 270? Yeah, 270. And I don't know. If your position is a little bit compacted, if you're playing on the back foot, the light gun is also slightly more appealing. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm just trying to justify a light gun because I'm a massive light fanboy at this point. Up to 3 digital machine guns. That is quite scary. Rakettenwerfer are going to get added onto the list here, and that's nice. I guess CJ hasn't had any scouting into his opponent's half of the map, or certainly into his base, so could be a Tank of V Battalion Command. Doesn't want to get caught by a T-70, so he's going to go for the prophylactic Kettenwerfer here, and you cannot blame him for that. Flak half-track going to move up here. A massive blob of very angry Panzer Fusiliers going to displace the machine gun here. There's another Danzak set up though, so he's going to probably be able to grab west of map, but that's about it. And Soviet forces are active grabbing the rest of the map. So again, CJ only able to grab a third of the map at the time. Going to be suffering in terms of resources and the scoreline as this game moves forward. And that's acceptable for OKW at this phase of the game. It's not where you want to be. OKW definitely can have a very dominant early game, but It is acceptable. Looks like we've got an MG34 onto the roster, so that's a fine choice. Going to use that to garrison this church here. No, going to see another tech choice here, the Shveva Max Schlepper, going to be moving out onto the field. The Soviet player has gone for the support weapon Campanile, so going to be able to take options from that building. Flak half-track here, taking quite a lot of damage from these conscripts. Should be okay. Storm Pioneers are on their way to repair it. Look at these conscripts, they're just doing fine. Okay, the sandbags get destroyed, and that will probably have to force these conscripts out of here, you have to think. Keep an eye on the mini-map to see what's going on there, because there's a bigger fight happening over here in the west. As the initial scuffles get underway, there's a large amount of Soviet infantry moving into position. They are well supported, 2 machine guns here, and this is just 3 squads of Panzer Fusiliers, so this ought to be an easy fight for Bartertown. He's just going to rip on through these Panzer Fusiliers. Gross. And I think you just have to let your opponent have this area of the map. Okay, yeah, I suppose you can put some guys in a building to be as annoying as possible for as long as possible, but yeah, the Soviet hammer going to crush in the west for now. Flak half-track, though, crushing in the east, getting repaired whilst those Storm Pioneers cap, always nice. And I'm kind of waiting for one of these 2 players to pick a slightly more interesting unit right now. Let's have a look. Tank of the Battalion Command is on its way right now. Bartertown has a ton of fuel, actually, so capable of teching or taking any choice he wants at this point in the game from that building, as soon as he has the manpower, of course. The second tech building is the Schwere Panzer HQ for our OKW player. Going to put that one in a forward position, as I often see OKW players do on this map. This is just a great position, because from here it secures a fuel point, and it basically secures 3 points on the map, and it's also relatively difficult for your allied player to try and siege that one down. So yeah, that's a fine position. I mean, we do sometimes see Zis guns and tanks be able to overrun that one, but it's about as safe as you can be for putting a tech building on the map. So yeah, we're going to have Schwer Panzer HQ, and let's check, it's nearly finished. I'm going to keep that one selected for a second. We'll see if he's going to go for Panzer authorization sooner or later.
The static post is now in operation.
So yeah, going to go for Panzer authorization immediately. Pretty even game so far. OKW player has managed to push up and take the midline of the map, which is impressive. Soviet player being very preoccupied with the west end of the map here. Well, these Dushkas kind of getting overrun a little bit. Flak half-track being very useful in this regard. Some Panzerschrecks even appearing on these Panzer Fusiliers as well, meaning that any armoured choice that the Soviet player takes, CJ is well equipped to deal with at the moment. Did we see the Mechanized Regiment HQ? Nope, no Mech Reg HQ just yet. Okay, we are actually going to see a light gun. Hurrah! Yeah, love myself a light gun. It's going to be good stuff. We'll see if it's actually any good. Light guns are so hit and miss, like literally. Sometimes they'll just be firing away all game and you'll just be like, why have you got no kills and no veterancy? And then other times, well, the same thing will happen, and then you get back to them and they've got like 2 stars of veterancy and like 7 kills, which to be honest seems to be about the best a light gun ever does. But, you know, they are very useful at countering weapon teams, and there are 4 Dushka machine guns on the field right now. That is quite scary. 4? How much supply cap is a Dushka machine gun? Somebody tell me, I'm not actually sure. That strikes, yeah, I mean, he's up to 59 supply and he's only got these units, so... Yeah, an interesting composition here. I feel like if you've got this many Dushkas, your plan has to be to try and push through and grab this building right here. Because if you can grab that one, and then just garrison it with Dushkas, it gets so hard for the OKW player to displace that. I mean, we're a bit past the phase in the game where that's what you're trying to do now, but I think that would have been really nice if Bartertown could have established that kind of like mini-lock in the early game. Flak HQ, sorry, the Flak half-track has been super useful this game, fair to say. 8 kills, 1 star of veterancy, be coming up for another on that one pretty soon. Nice to see a Flak half-track do well. Massive Axis offensive here in mid. Conscripts in a church, not going to be enough to deflect this assault. The west of the map falling firmly into Soviet hands, however. Scoreline, let's take a look. 440 for our OKW player over the 391 of Bartertown, so a slight advantage there for CJCitizen. We'll have to see if he can maintain that as the late game rolls in a while. Going to be going up for a second light gun, and I do like this. This is actually a reasonable map for a light gun as well. Has his first light gun in a nice forward position here, and using it, there we go, this is lovely. Just using it to counter these machine guns. This is exactly what we want to see, and I think 2 light guns when you're up against 4 Dushkas, absolutely fine. That's not an overreaction, that's just fine.
Support gun, ready for action.
So yep, that's the sound of the second light gun rolling out onto the field. Just making life as annoying as possible for these Soviet machine guns. Molotov comes down into the church, but CJ totally cognizant of it. He's probably going to lose the east of map, though, and if you lose that eastern CP, it no longer becomes acceptable just to sit and hold this position. You'll have to go and do something. So I would love to see him just distribute his forces a little more evenly, because at the moment he has a massive concentration here, and that's fine. Holding this position is strong. I like it. If he can get the MG34 into this building, I would love it. Where's the MG34? Oh, he seems to have sort of... I mean, it is guarding his backfield, but that's not really where it wants to be. If he could get it into this church, that would be amazing. Bartertown, of course, without any mortar tubes or indirect fire of his own, means that machine gun liable to stay in that church for quite some time. So, looks like the Mechanized Regiment HQ, the Mechanized Armor Kempenire, does come down here. So Bartertown now playing with basically the full Soviet tech tree, and a T-34, going to be his choice out of that building. And that seems fine. I'm not in love with it, actually, if I'm honest. He's seen that has he seen the Kettenwerfer? I feel like he's definitely seen his opponent has a Kettenwerfer, and I know for sure he's seen the Shreks on the Fusiliers. So buying a T-34 into that much AT is... I mean, it comes down to the micro and the engagements you're able to take. Definitely a T-34 can flourish in this environment. It's not too much AT, but I wouldn't hate just saving for something else or buying something a little more sort of left field, a little more atypical. These Storm Pioneers are going to have to run away, and they do. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him just getting something a little more atypical. Going for a Stuck as a Foos would be not an option, actually, because he doesn't have that building. Fair enough. Or saving for... Wait. I'm sorry, I'm talking about completely the wrong tech tree. Oh, Magpie. Alright, let's just pretend that I said Katusha there. Yeah, going for Katusha is nice because obviously it's much harder for the Axis player to bring his anti-tank resources to bear against that unit. And I feel like if you've seen that the Axis player has like at least one light gun, I think he knows he has two now, and you've seen that your Axis player is garrisoning this location pretty hard. You also know, I think, does Bartertown know about this forward? Oh, he doesn't know about the Forge Fair Panzer HQ. Well, anyway, if he did, that's another factor that could make a Katusha appealing. If you can get a Katusha out this early timing, you can start vetting it up and keep it alive into the late game. And yeah, I don't know. But he's going to go for the T-34. This is the much more obvious unit, I suppose, the much more traditional. And it does add some extra muscle, and it does support this infantry much more directly. So we're going to see what he can get done here. These Dushkas just doing intense amount of damage to these Panzer Fusiliers in the building. They can't stay there long. The flak half-track in a great position, but it's not able really to get too much done. Smoke going to be used here to try and mitigate the effects of the Dushkas, but it's not enough. The T-34 finds a fine angle, forcing the half-track back. Conscript's beginning to break through, but the MG-34 is in the backfield. It's still in that building back there, but it's actually being useful now, preventing these overrunning conscripts from getting much done. Going to suppress them immediately, but here comes the T-34. The Kettenwerfer not properly aligned. The Shrek Panzer Fusiliers already on the fallback, so it looks like the Axis position completely broken here. Bartertown manages to overrun, breaks this hard point. You can see on the minimap, he is capping and dominating in west. Woo. Damn this camera thing. Able to pick up a kill on the Kettenwerfer is really savage. Are there any conscripts who could take advantage? I would love to see him be able to, or just get the killing shot. Get the killing shot with the T-34. You need to, yeah, there we go. He's going to try for it, and that's brilliant, as well he should. So yeah, wow, this is a real punisher. And I feel like CJCitizen going for 3 squads with the G43 upgrade is suboptimal. Because I feel like if you're going to go for any Shreks on Fusiliers, then it's like 2 squads is the way to go, because then you have 4 Shreks, and that's so scary. 1 Shrek squad, I don't know, leaves you in this spot where you can lose your Kettenwerfer, and then... Is this enough AT? I don't think so. So, to solve that, obviously, he's going for the Jagdpanzer, which of course has been on the build queue for a little while here. And I love the Jagdpanzer, it's an amazing unit. I really enjoy micro... How has he got a triple cap right now? I thought for sure Soviet units had taken west. Wow. Well, okay, I mean, on the back of having his position completely broken, how on earth did the Axis forces manage to take west? I was not watching, but they have. Okay, so wow, he has a triple cap. He has his opponent down like nearly 200 tickets behind him, so everything looking great here for CJCitizen. Now with the Jagdpanzer on the map, as long as this unit doesn't get caught out by the T-34, he's in a great position, and I love his composition. Excuse me. This flak half-track is starting to look really good now. 18 kills. Angling its way towards the 3rd star of veterancy. Okay, a new Soviet assault starts coming through into mid here. The light gun's firing, trying to neutralize these Dushkas before they get into good position. All 4 Dushkas, you can see, brought to bear in a line here. The Panzer Fusiliers in the church won't last long, so they're going to give that position up. These light guns doing really well. Getting some nice hits there. A star of veterancy on each of them. 4 kills on one, none on the other, but getting damage done where it needs to be done, and that's great. Putting the light guns in this position is also really nice, actually. They're very far forward, but also very well defended here. Jagdpanzer reveals itself. Don't like this necessarily. I think you want to keep this one far back until you know where the T-34 is. I guess the Shrek Fusiliers are here to guard that one, so that's okay. Looks like CJ wants to go for another MG-34, and I do like that. T-34 going to go the long way around to try and catch out these light guns. There doesn't appear to be anything here to deal with this. The Jagdpanzer is going to have to rotate, and it does immediately, so CJ cognizant of what's going on in his backfield now. The light gun's in jeopardy, but that's okay. They're kind of acceptable losses. They're quite tough, hard to destroy. Shreks and the Jagdpanzer are going to force back the T-34. Even if he squad wipes these, he was really only fighting for the veterancy on those Ligs. I don't think he was ever going to be able to destroy a Lig, and the Axis player could easily recrew one, so really just fighting for the veterancy there. The T-34 gets forced back. 2 squads of engineers will repair that one promptly, but I'm wondering, like, what I was saying earlier, has this T-34 been a good pick, or would a Katusha have been better? I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like a Katusha would have been better. Molotov comes down here, Panzer Fusiliers in the building, getting joined in the barbecue by an MG-34. Ooh, the Panzer Fusiliers, is CJ paying attention? They are getting burned quite hard here. Actually, seemingly not. Their health just not going down, so wherever this Panzer Fusilier is in this building, he ain't getting burned. There we go. The fullback comes down. You need to get that squad out of there. It's got the Shreks, it's got some veterancy. You don't want to lose that one. And seems like Bartertown just kind of unable to really get a foothold on the map. Like, he has west, but he needs to take 2 VPs. There's nothing defending east. If he could just run these conscripts in there, then that would be game-changing right now. He needs to do that. I know he doesn't know that, but you have to play for these things. And no, he's going to root them into the fight. I think I like just going for the VP, man. Be safe. Play safe. Alright, well, the T-34 is unopposed, I want to say. Oh, wow, there's actually a Shrek on the Storm Pioneers. Fair enough. Not often we see the Shrek on the Storm Pioneers, but that's what's happening in this game. Jagdpanzer transitions across, and that will force the T-34 to respect it here. It doesn't have it on prioritized infantry, vehicles, and it gets an infantry kill there. But I mean, that is kind of annoying. This is not what Jagdpanzers are all about. I don't want them to be doing that. This flak half-track just making a mockery of allied units in mid. Actually, you know what? It's not quite far enough forward. Are the 2 light guns still thundering away? They are. Nice work. Nice work. So, Allied forces are going to take mid. That puts Bartertown off the clock, trailing by about 223 tickets. Ooh, cunning, a demo charge being put on this church, so the Axis player has been making great use of. That church now on lowish health, but it's still definitely usable, so that demo charge may be able to be used if Bartertown can lure an Axis unit in there. This Dushka in a lovely position actually finds an angle where it can hit a lot of, or suppress a lot of units there. Very nice. Man, this flak half-track is doing work. Up to 3 stars now. What does this little green lock mean? Does that mean it's locked down, or what does that actually mean? What does this little green lock symbol mean? Does that mean it's like in firing mode? I didn't realize that it had a little... I didn't realize it had a little icon to represent that. Anyway, Katusha here going to be the choice from Bartertown to try and get him out from this situation that he finds himself in. This is such a difficult position to break. And this T-34, I don't know, its effectiveness just kind of limited right now. I do like the Katusha. I think it's a really fine choice. The alternatives, of course, another tank. Okay, so the demo charge gets used, but I think the Panzer Fusiliers got out of there just a split second before that one went off. So that's fine. Yeah, so the choices were another tank or a Katusha or an Su-85. He had the fuel for basically whatever he wanted. I am always critical of Soviet players for spamming T-34s. Finally, he's going to capture East. This is awesome. Nicely done by Bartertown. Better late than never. At least he gets round here. Jesus, that thing just murders conscripts. Whoa, Bartertown, you need to get these boys out of here. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, the first real mistake we've seen this game, the first obvious blunder. Those conscripts get murdered by that half-track. Jeez, at 3-star vets it has the DPS. 35 kills on that thing, holy spoons. That's pretty good. It may run into this T-34 here though. Look at the way he's using this flak half-track. He's making it look like such a great unit. This is really great. Where's the Jagdpanzer in all this? Okay, it's back here. Anyway, the point I was making though was that I'm often very critical of Soviet players who make too many T-34s. But I feel like this is the one situation when adding another T-34 might have been okay, still might be okay. Because your opponent's AT is this like super inflexible Jagdtiger, and they really do die fast if you can flank them with T-34's 4 stars of that on this killer half-track. So, I don't know. I'm not saying it's the right choice, I'm saying that this is one of the few times that I find that another T-34 may have been an acceptable choice. Overall, though, I think I do prefer the Katusha. That thing's on the field right now, and it's going to reveal itself with a barrage here. Wants to find the light guns. The barrage is kind of okay. The light gun just on the edge. Okay, he gets the light. Nice rocket there. So, yep, firing for good effect there is the Katusha. T-34 trying to make a move here. The Jagdpanzer's here to police that back. MG-34 in a building here is going to try and keep back this massive Soviet advance. This is a lot of Soviet units here. Flak half-track going to scramble in to try and put down some more much-needed fire onto these conscript units. Jeez, this thing's DPS is like so heavy. The Dushka putting some big holes though in the flak half-track. That's going to force it back for now. And the Axis forces, is there too much Soviet on the dance floor here? I don't think so actually. He's going to be able to repulse this nicely. MG-34 going to be the saviour up in this building. Where's the other one? Okay. Interesting way he's using these MG-34s. He's kind of using the flak half-track as a forward suppression unit, and then using the MG-34s as a sort of second line of defense that he can fall back to as and when the Allied forces overrun him. And that's fine, but I feel like with a Katusha on the field, it's going to get increasingly hard to have this plan going. We'll see.
Yes, comrade.
So yeah, continue fighting here. Axis forces have retaken the east of the map. This Dushka just standing proud in mid. 10 kills, 2 stars of vet on that light gun. Yep, starting to look okay. Bartertown stacking a lot of fuel. I'd love to see him go for another choice here, and I'd actually love to see him go for a what the? Oh, we've got a Tiger tank on the field. I always didn't recognise that silhouette. Of course. He's got the commander call in Tiger tank. Awesome. Well, now I'd love to see an Su-85. I think we have to see an Su-85 next out of the Soviet player. There's just a lot of Axis targets out here that an Su-85 is going to be very effective against, and you really need something that's going to mitigate the effectiveness of this Tiger tank. Yeah, he could build Zis guns, but I mean, no veterancy miss guns coming out against a Tiger tank in the late game is a pretty desperate strat. And in any case, the limiting variable for either of these choices is manpower. He has the fuel, so I think the Su-85 has to be the way forward here. I'd love to see that come onto the roster. How much manpower is an Su-85 these days? 350. Yeah, great. Go for the Su-85. Do it. So yeah, Tiger tank on the front. He's got the Panzer Commander upgraded on that, so that gives it what, extended line of sight and weapon accuracy. Oh, amazing! And grants accuracy to a coordinated barrage. The Tiger just hooning home for damage there. Lovely. Oh no, this T-34 insufficiently mighty to deal with the Yagdi and the Tiger. There's just too much stuff. Su-85 is the choice here, so Bartertown agrees with my analysis. Whoa, that Tiger shell. How many dudes did that just kill? 2, 3, 4, 5. What? It killed like 4 guys off of each of 3 squads with that shell. What? Up to 16 kills. Oh. Oh, Tiger overrunning here. Gets the Tushi. Really wants a piece of these MGs. Going to be wiping veterancy off of the many Dushka squads here. Just hooning home for damage. There's nothing here. The Su-85 late. The T-34 doesn't want any part of this action. Where is the T-34? Just repairing. Oh wow, that's a lot of veterancy to lose. It's not the end of the day. You can just instantly recrew all of these, unless the Tiger decides to stay from killing blow. Here comes the IL-2 rocket strafe, and the Su-85 is finished. The engine on this thing is damaged now. The T-34 comes back in, so the big cat is now the hunted. And is going to have to fall back. Oh no, you can't. No, fall back these conscripts. You can't risk your core infantry here. Dushka squads are a completely different prospect. Here comes the Su-85. What is going on with this Su-85? What are you going to do here? You have to capitalize on this scenario. Oh no, there's a Predator camo Yagdi out here though. What? No, not even any attack ground rounds coming through. I feel like that was an opportunity that Bartertown let slip through his fingers. And now, if you let that one slip away, if you let this Tiger get repaired and get away... Okay, here comes the Su-85. Enters focus sight mode. Gonna look for the Tiger. Just a plum smoke round from a light gun, I presume, coming in. That's so good. Light gun's looking proper good, but attack ground round still going to hit for damage here. The Tiger, whoa, the Su-85, just no need to expose yourself. You can take the shots from back here. Just be safe. Don't let the Yagdi get any shots on you. Just keep hitting that Tiger, and he is. It's all about getting veterancy and forcing the Tiger back. Every hit he gets on the Tiger forces it away for more time, and time is what Bartertown needs right now. He's under... Oh, actually, you know what? Time ain't going to be enough. I thought that he just needed to play for time to replenish his army, but of course he's under a triple cap and trailing significantly in the score stakes, so actually no, he kind of needs to be pushing, and that's just not going to happen. Too many light guns, too many MG34s, too many Axis units. This is just... I feel like this might be GG right now for the Soviet player. Man, that Tiger coming in so deep here and just getting so much value. Look at these stacks of corpses. That was like one Tiger shell. Jeez. Tiger tanks, people. Turns out they're good. So what do you do right now as Bartertown? I mean, you still have core infantry intact. You still have some armoured options. Man, I would love it if his Katusha hadn't died, though. Oh, that Katusha, that's such a shame. Because you just need a barrage to soften up all this Axis stuff. Actually, you know what? The Tiger tank is not yet repaired. Here come the Storm Pioneers now. You know what? CJ, I would love to see him... he doesn't have the unit cap, but a second squad of Storm Pioneers. If he could just, like... I think at this point in the game, just pick up one of your light guns, just move it into your opponent's base. Who cares? Just let them have that light gun. It's rubbish. And just get another squad of Storm Pioneers. Possibly, anyway. Or just hold on to them. That's fine as well. Okay, so Soviet forces moving into west, and there is actually not that much opposition here. A cunningly positioned MG34, but as long as he can overcome that... Oh no, can he overcome that? He might not actually be able to beat this. Oh no, here comes some Fusiliers to back it up. Oh no, I don't think he can actually beat that. Oh god. This is such a grisly position for Bartertown. Looks grim. Ow! Okay, he somehow grabbed east. I did not see this. Okay, that's fine. That gives him significantly more time to try and find a solution here, and that's what he desperately needs. T-34 should be enough to deal with that MG-34. Indeed, it has to fall back just by taking too much damage. Fusiliers here going to get beaten into the building by some conscripts, so... Now the conscripts can just leapfrog onto this building, so nicely done. Okay, Bartertown succeeds in buying himself some time. Nicely done. The Tiger tank, now repaired though. A 1-star of veterancy and 32 kills. Oh my goodness, that thing came out to a fanfare of death. And it's just, what a, yeah, just, so where's the Su-85? Okay, it's moving to try and get some shots on this Tiger. So if he can find some shots up here, that would be the best spot. Where is he going? Oh, this is your angle here. He's driven too far, which is annoying. But he's still got to find some hits, so that's nice. And once the Su-85 gets a star of veterancy, there we go. It gets the tracking veterancy ability. What does this do? Oh no, so it's 2-star of veterancy. That's where it gets penetration and accuracy, and then 3 stars rate of fire. Yeah, so you really need 2 and 3 stars. Yeah, the 1-star veterancy on Soviet vehicles kind of still pretty naff. So yeah, MG-34 sneaks back onto west, and that's problems for Bartertown. He's mounting a massive assault in mid right now. Conscripts are capping, so that's awesome. But oh my god, 5 stars on this black half-track, 46 kills on that one. The Tiger's back in town, 2 stars of veterancy up on that one. Whoa! OKW Tigers can have 5 stars of veterancy, of course. Gross, I don't even want to know what that does right now. Oh well, things are starting to look dire for our Soviet player again. He's going for a second Su-85, which I do applaud, because he needs it. But I think it's just too little too late. I mean, there might be a very brief window where he can try and take a fight and beat the Tiger, but I'm not sure he's going to have the time. He's going to be under a triple cap here in a second. Some brave engineer is going to desperately try and get a decap. No, I think you have to play for time there. He falls them back. I think you have to try. I think he had enough time to get the decap. Even if he didn't, I think he could have got the decap and sacrificed that squad, and it would still have been better. Because now, I don't know. He just doesn't have the resources to be. Oh no, the Su-85 just gets hooned. Yeah, that's dead. All right. Okay, and with that, that is Bartertown's hopes in this game out the window. A Yagdi and a Tiger, the anti-vehicle DPS of those two units combined is so intense. Niftily dodges the IL-2 Sturmovik, which then crashes into the field in a blazing halt. Flak half-track on 5 stars. Pretty good at anti-air as well, it turns out. And that will be game. There is no way back, I feel, for this Soviet player, and he knows it. Wow, Bartertown there giving a really good account of himself against a very cunning and well-selected Axis army. There were moments there where I feel like Bartertown could definitely have taken this game. This position that CJCitizen established here, clearly not his first rodeo playing this style on this map. And it's very interesting to me. So he had his MGs in the further back buildings, this one here and this one here, and then whenever he was overrun off of this victory point or the west victory point, he would fall back to those positions, and it would be like a second line of defense, which Bartertown was never able to really break through. He then bolstered those positions with 2 light guns, which were great this game, actually. Some rare to say, but yeah, they were relevant both for countering weapon teams, doing damage, and for putting down some smoke. So really good stuff from some light guns in this game. The flak half-track somehow surviving this entire game, 49 kills. Basically the OKW equivalent of a sniper. It's just so good. Great to see that unit do well. Forms the core of this defensive line for such a long time, policing allied infantry and advances through this entire game. Just a great unit, well used there by CJ. For Bartertown, I feel like the first vehicle was a T-34. And this T-34 is still alive at the close of the game. 2 stars of veterancy, 25 kills. But was it ever pivotal? Did it ever manage to do anything that changed the game? Or was it merely just contributing damage, I'm going to call it meaningless damage, throughout this game? I don't really feel like this T-34 was ever able to open up any particular strategy or tactic or break any particular Axis position in any way that really changed the outcome of this game. Which is odd to say of a unit which has survived to the end of the game with good kills and clearly did damage, but sometimes it's not enough just to be chipping in damage in those fights if you're still losing all of those engagements, and you need a different unit. I think the Katusha was really cool, and I would have liked to have seen the Katusha as the first choice taken. I think a Katusha coming out earlier might have changed the way this game went, because the real problem was the Axis being entrenched in this position, and then from here Axis basically extends control to both of the VPs. So I feel like getting the Katusha as your first choice might have changed the way this game looks. And then going Su-85s after that, perhaps. I mean, if you get the Katusha as your first choice, I don't know whether CJ feels obliged to get a Jagdpanzer, so from then I'm not really sure how the game goes. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, get Su-85s, because your opponent might not actually have gotten a Yagdi or anything for Su-85s to shoot at. So, I don't know. It's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Yeah, let's be honest, I'm really down on T-34s at the moment. I haven't seen a T-34 look particularly great for some time. If you're miles ahead and you just need just a unit of force to beat your opponent to death with, yeah, the T-34 is absolutely fine. But then again, if you're miles ahead, most choices are fine. Most tanks will do. And I just feel like the T-34 comes out in a stage in the game where its offerings are just often really lacking, where the Axis player is often very well prepared to deal with a medium tank, which is not especially threatening. I don't know. If you can get an early T-34 out, that's really different. If you've had domination of the fuel and your Axis opponent is just about gasping to get a pat gun on the field or something like that, yeah, sure, then a T-34 is a brilliant choice. Like, if it's coming out in the role of essentially a much better, heavier T-70, great. But that's not how I'm seeing T-34s used. They're not coming out that early very often, and they're just lacking. They're just really feeding veterancy and not really changing the outcome of very many fights that I'm seeing. So unless I'm like missing something, it seems to me like Soviet players are just overbuilding the T-34 and underbuilding the Katusha and the Su-85 in some games, in my opinion. So yeah, I guess that's what I would say for Bartertown. Also in the early game, going up to 4 Dushka machine guns, does that provide any tactical advantages that 3 didn't, or perhaps even 2? Could that manpower have been better spent perhaps on the airborne guards? I mean, that's up to you to decide. Possibly is the answer. I think I would have preferred to have seen like 3 Dushkas and 1 unit of guards, or 2 Dushkas and 2 units of guards, or something like that. I appreciate that it's not a 1-for-1 swap, because of course the Dushka is like significantly cheaper and you can crew it with conscripts and so forth, but like, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to think about. So those, I guess, would be my notes on this game. I feel like the Axis player basically came in here with a plan which worked, so it's hard to give him any notes. And like every unit the Axis player built, you can see it had a function to serve, and that function was achieved, and therefore the game just looked really smooth for CJ. Whereas Bartertown, it's like, that many Dushkas and the T-34 at that timing, I'm like, is that the best thing that he could have done at that time? I'm not sure. In any case, an interesting game to watch. And as I said, yeah, I'll be working on getting some fillers to add to the end of these casts so that the game timer is not, or the video length timer is not so much of a spoiler. Yeah, so thanks very much for all your feedback. That's what helps me make this channel better, so I really do appreciate that. I guess that's it for now, so thanks very much for watching, and this for now, Magpie842 signing out.